Hi, welcome to Salesforce Topics channel. In this video, let us discuss on the record level sharing in detail. We can categorize record level sharing based on who manages that record sharing. If the record sharing is managed by Salesforce or Salesforce admin, then we call it as a managed record sharing. If the record sharing is managed by individual users, then we call it as user managed record sharing. And if the record sharing is managed by Apex code, then we call it as Apex managed record sharing. In earlier session, we have seen 3 levels of record sharing. Now we would be concentrating on the record level completely. Please note that for the better understanding at the object level and field level, I am not restricting anything. That means at the object level, I have given create, read, update, delete permissions and all the field access to our users that we are going to use under this org for our demo. At the object level, I have given create, read, update, delete so that it should not interfere and when we are looking for record level sharing access. If I would have not given the permission, delete permission at the object level, then in the record level, we will never get that delete permission. Hence, at the object level, I am keeping the complete access. And let's now look into the record level in detail. Let's have a look into the first category, that is managed record sharing. The record sharing which is managed by Salesforce admin, we can call it as a managed record sharing. Under this, we would get record ownership, organization-wide defaults, role hierarchy, sharing rule. All these techniques comes under managed record sharing. For this demo, we would take the same service request object and these are the users that we are going to use: MGR, LDR1, Tech1 and Tech2. For this demo, we have a custom object, that is service request, wherein we have the following fields like bill amount, city, free service, service request name, vehicle number, vehicle type. We have 4 users, that is MGR, LDR1, Tech1 and Tech4, and the profiles of LDR1, Tech1, Tech2 is same, that is VJ service profile, and user manager's profile is VJ management profile. Under this profile, we have complete access on the object level. Under VJ service profile, for our object, at the object level we have given read, create, edit, delete permissions. Same way for other profile, VJ management profile, for our object we have given complete read, create, edit, delete permissions, so that these 4 users would have the complete access on the object level, and then we can clearly see the effect of record level access. But if your requirement is to not to allow any of the users under this profile to delete the request under this object, then you can always go to here and deselect this delete option from the profile as well as from the permission sets of the user. But in our demo, we will continue with all these permissions on this object. Under managed record sharing, let's have a look into the record ownership. By default, whomever creates the record, that user becomes the owner of that record, and the owner of the record would get the complete full access on that record. The full access means viewing of the record, editing of the record, deletion of that record, and transferring it to the another user or sharing this record to other users if required. By default, this ownership is assigned to the created user by Salesforce. Without involvement of any user or Apex code, Salesforce internally manages this record ownership. For example, on this service request object, if Tech1 creates one record, he will become the owner of that record. That means he will get the full access that we discussed here: view, edit, delete, transfer, share. Ownership of this record is only given to the Tech1 user because he created this record, but not to other users. In the same way, if Tech2 creates a record, for his record he will get a full access, that is ownership of that record. For those records created by LDR1, those records ownership access would get assigned to only LDR1. Same applies to all users. If MGR creates any record, he would become the owner of that record. Now, if you take a look into the service request table, now each user has created one record, so they became the owner of that record. User MGR has one record as owner, LDR1 has one record as owner, Tech1 has one record as owner, Tech2 has one record as owner. To see the effect of record ownership, let us create one record for each and every user on service request object. I am logging in as Tech1 user. This is Tech1 user. Let me create one service request. So created by Tech1. Once we click on the save, you would be able to see the owner of the record is whomever is created, that is Tech1 user, and he will be having the complete access, that is read access, edit. He can edit if he wants, and he will be having the delete permission, as well as he can change the owner of this record. That means he can transfer this record and he can share it to the other users if required. Let me try to delete this one, whether he will be able to delete or not. Yes, he is able to delete this record. Let me restore the deleted record. Same way, user will have change owner access so that he can change the owner of this record. That means he can transfer this record and he can share these records to other users. Let me create another 3 records for each and every user. I'm going to log in as Tech2 user. And for Tech2, we don't have any records right now. Let me create it. So created by Tech2. Since he created, he becomes the owner of the record and he will have complete access. LDR1 user does not have any records right now, so let me create one record. So created by LDR1 here, Chennai, and the amount. Now the owner of the record is LDR1 because he has created, and he will have the complete access on the record. Please note that each user is able to see their own records only right now. Whatever they are the owner, they are able to see those records. Logged in as MGR user. Using this user, create one record. Record created by MGR, some amount. As he is the owner for this record, he is able to see all the options. He can perform all the options on this record. That is read, edit, delete, transferring the record to the another user and sharing it to the other users. Only the owner of the record would get this view, edit, delete, transfer, share, but not to other users. If you want to give sharing access to other users, then you need to configure any of the following techniques that we are going to look into the next slides. The next managed sharing technique is organization-wide defaults. I repeat one more time, whomever the owner of the record by default gets view, edit, delete, transfer, share. that is complete access on the record that is created by the user. Under organization by default, we have the following options: private, public read only, public read write, controlled by parent. We will see one by one. For service request object, for example, we are going to configure organization wide level. If I select OWD organization wide default on the service request object as private, only the record owner would get the complete access and each record will become as a private. That means no other user would be able to access other than owner. For example, if we have 4 records under the service request, only the owners would get the access, not other users. If I select the OWD as public read only, then by default owner of the record will get the complete access, as we know this concept, and then that record will be shared to the public with a read only access. For example, if we have 4 records in it, each record's owner would get the complete access and that record would be shared to the other public available into the organization. That means if Tech1 creates one record, he will get the complete access on that record and that record is shared to the leader 1, Tech2, MGR. Only the read access would be shared to other users, that is LDR1, Tech2, MGR. If I select OWD as public read write, the owner of the record by default he will get the complete access and that record will be shared to the other public for the read and write access. That means other users can read and edit the record. For example, if Tech1 creates a record, he will get the complete access on that record and that record will be shared to the LDR1 to MGR with read and write permissions. Now, MGR can also would able to edit and write the record which is created by Tech1. So on the shared record, the other users, the public, can perform the read and edit operations. Controlled by parent is only applicable to the child objects. When we have master detail relationship on the objects, only the detail objects will have this option controlled by parent. On the parent, we would be having the public, private read only and public read write options. At the given point of time, on the parent records object, we can only configure any of the option like that is private, public read only or public read write. Now let's deep dive on each and every option of the OWD. If we apply public read write, as we discussed, the read write permission would be shared to entire public in the organization. That means if Tech1 has created one record, he would be able to have complete ownership on that and the read write permission on that record would be shared to other users. We would see that effect. Let's create one record for each user. And now let's see what would be the effect of OWD, that is public read write, on this created 4 records. When we select OWD as public read write on this service record, the Salesforce will apply the read write access of MGR1's created record would be shared to LDR1, Tech1, Tech2. The read write permissions of the LDR1 created records would be shared to MGR, Tech1, Tech2. The read write permission of the Tech1 created user record would be shared to LDR1, MGR, Tech2. Same way, the read write permission of the record which is created by Tech2, those read and write permissions would be shared to MGR, LDR, and Tech1. Now let's see what are all the Tech1 user can access. Tech1 user can access one record as owner because he has created one record, and other 3 records created by MGR, LDR1 and Tech2, he would be having view and edit access. So totally he will have 4 records access. Same way, Tech2 user will have one record as owner and other three records created by MGR, LDR1 and Tech1. He would get read and edit permissions on those three records. Totally, he will have one record as owner and three record with view and edit permissions. Same applies to LDR1 and MGR user. As he has created only one record, he has one ownership on the one record, and other three records created by LDR1, Tech1, Tech2, he has read and edit access. We have created one record for each and every user. That is, user manager has one record, user LDR1 has one record as owner, and Tech1 has one record as owner, and Tech2 has one record as owner. Now to see the OWD public read write effect, let's change the sharing setting OWD of our object to public read write. I'm changing it to public read write, and once we click on save button, as we have 4 records under this object, Salesforce takes each record and for owner it assigns the full record access, and remaining all it treats as a public and it gives the read write permission. It repeats the same for all the records under this object, and this same calculation will happen whenever user creates one more new record. For those user who has created that record, Salesforce gives complete full access. At the same time, Salesforce assigns read write permission of this record to all the users, as we have configured OWD as public read write. Now our object's OWD has been updated as a public read write. Let's log in as each user and see the effect of OWD public read write. I'm logging in as Tech1 user. As a Tech1 user, I should be able to have complete access on the Tech1's record, created record, because Tech1 is owner. He has a read and he should be able to edit this record, and he should be able to delete this record as he is the owner. That is, by default he will get all these accesses. Now let's see the others record, that is the record created by LDR1. On this record also he should have read access and he should be able to edit this record because he has a read write permission on this by OWD. Let me try to change this amount. Yes, he is able to edit the others record also, as we have given OWD as public read write. Please note that when we give the public read write, he will be getting only the edit and read access, but not the delete access. Though the delete button is displayed here because at the object level we have given the access for all the create, read, update and delete. The button would get displayed here, but he should not be able to delete this record. Once he click on the delete, he will get an error saying that he does not have permission to delete this. Ultimately, the Tech1 user has complete access on his own record and he has read and write access on others record. Let's see on the record which is created by Tech2, what are all the access does he have. He must be having the read access and edit access on this record. He will not be able to delete this record. Same applies to the Tech2 user. Now I have logged in as a Tech2 user. He must be having the complete access on the Tech2's record that we have seen many times because he is the owner. And let me access others record and see whether he will be able to delete. He should not be able to delete the others record, but he should be able to read. Yes, he is able to read. He should be able to edit. Yes, he should be able to edit this record. If I change this from some value, yes, he is able to edit. That means he has the read write access on the others records. Now I am logging in as LDR1 user, and he should be able to have access on his own record, complete access. And then let me see others record, that is Tech1's record, and he is able to read. He must be able to edit this record. He is able to edit this record, but he should not be able to delete, because this record was created by other user. Through OWD, he got only read and edit permissions, as we have assigned OWD as public read write. Ultimately, LDR1 has complete access on his own record, and he is able to read and edit others' record. Same applies to MGR user, and see the record accesses. Here also the MGR user should get the complete access on this record which is created by him, MGR, and he should be able to see the read and edit options on the others record. Here he should be able to see complete access on the record that he has created. He can edit, he can transfer, he can delete, he can share the access rights, because he is the owner of this record. And let's take the others record that is created by Tech1, and he should be able to edit also. He is able to read and he should be able to edit this one. Yes, he is able to edit this record, but he will not be able to delete this record, as he does not have permissions on this record. He will get a warning message. Ultimately, MGR user has complete access on his own record and 3 other records created by other 3 users. On those records, he has read and edit permissions. As OWD of the service request, we have set it as public read write. The next option in the OWD is public read only. Let's assume each user has created one record and they will get ownership on those records. Now let's apply public read only OWD on this service records of service object. Once we apply the public read only, the records created by MGR1, reads access of that would be shared with LDR1, Tech1, Tech2. Same way, the record created by LDR1, thus records read access would be shared to MGR, Tech1 and Tech2. And the record created by Tech1, the read access of that record would be shared with LDR1, MGR and Tech2. And the record created by Tech2's read permission would be shared to MGR, LDR1 and Tech1. Now let's check the Tech1 user's record access. He would be having one record as owner and 3 read-only records that were created by other users. In the same way, Tech2 user will have one record as owner and 3 as read-only. Same applies to LDR1 and MGR. MGR has one record as owner and 3 other records with read-only permission. To see the effect of public read-only OWD, let's configure our objects OWD as read-only by going to the sharing settings and then configure our objects OWD to public read-only, and I am clicking on save. Salesforce processes each and every record under service request object. For each record, it checks the owner and it gives the complete access to the owner, and remaining all the users, it will give the read access on that record, and it repeats for each and every record on that service request object. That means we have four service request records on the service request object. We will see the effect of public read only on our service request object by logging into the each and every users. I am logging in as a Tech1 user right now. As we have configured service request OWD as a public read only, this Tech1 user is able to access other three records created by LDR1, MGR and Tech2 user. Tech1 user must be having the complete access on his own record. This is his own record, so he is having the complete access. That is, he can read, edit, and he can delete as well. Also, he can transfer and he can share. And for those records created by others, he should be able to just read. He is able to read the record. Let's try to change this field. He will get an error as he does not have an access to edit this record. In the same way, he will not be able to delete the record as he does not have a delete permission. He has only the read permission on this record. For Tech1 user, this is applicable to others record, that is MGR and Tech2. He would be able to just read those records. For example, the record which was created by MGR, we are trying to change this from Tech1 user. As he does not have permissions, edit permission, he will get an error. Like this, Tech1 user has complete ownership on his own record, but only the read access on the other records created by other users. Same way, let's log in as a Tech2 user and see the behavior. Since service requests OWD we have given as a public read only, Tech2 user is also able to access all the records that was created by other users also. As logged in user is Tech2 and he should be able to have complete access on this record because he is the owner. He can perform any operation on this. For example, he can edit, read, he can delete, he can transfer, he can share to other users. Whereas he cannot perform any edit or delete operations on the others record. In this is a record is created by LDR1. So on this record, he would not be able to change any field value. He will get an error saying that he does not have an edit permission. Even he cannot delete this record. So ultimately, this Tech2 user has complete ownership on his own record and he has a read access on the records created by other users. Now let's log in as LDR1. He should be having the complete access on his own record, that is this record. So let's try to change this amount. He is able to edit. He would be able to edit, delete, and he should be able to assign it to the other users as owners, and he can share this record sharing to other users. He should be able to access others records because we have given at the service request level OWD as public read only, but he will not be able to do any operations, edit operation and delete operations. For example, if I try to edit others record which was created by MGR, he will get an error saying that he does not have edit permission on this record. Same applies to the MGR user. I logged in as MGR user. So on the MGR's record, he should be able to perform all the operations. For example, edit operation he should be able to perform. because he is the owner of the record, but he will not be able to perform any other operations other than read on the others records, because as a OWD it has given only the public read only access to the records of others. For example, I am accessing LDR's record and trying to update one record. He does not have edit permission on this record. He got an error. The next option that is available under OWD is private. Now let us consider each user has created one record here, and when we apply OWD private on this service records, whomever the owner, they are going to only access, and that record will become as a private, that is not can't be accessed by any other user. Hence Tech1 user would have only one record's access as he has created only one record. Same way LDR1 would have access on the only one record that he has created. Same applies to Tech2. Same applies to MGR. He would have one record as owner and 0 records from the OWD, because OWD applied was the private. We have created one record for each and every user. That is, user manager has one record, user LDR1 has one record as owner, and Tech1 has one record as owner, and Tech2 has one record as owner. Now let's configure the OWD on our service request object. Configure the OWD, we have to go to the sharing settings under setup, and under this you will find organization wide defaults for all the objects, including the standard objects and custom objects. Here we can edit the organization wide default for our custom object, that is service request. For this service request, we could see OWD options: private, public read only, public read write. Let's keep the private as a default and click on save. Now if you see, for service request, organization default is set as private. Now let's log in as Tech1 user, and he would be able to see only his records. And I am logging in as Tech1 user. Tech1 user is only able to see his own records, is not able to see others' record. Same way, let's log in as a Tech2 user. Tech2 user is able to see his own record, not others. I logged in as LDR1 user, and LDR1 is able to see his own records, and since he is the owner of this record, he would have complete access. I'm logged in as a MGR user, and MGR user is also able to see his own record. Since he is the owner of the record, he will have complete access on this record. The point to be noted here is these users are able to see their own records, but they are not able to see others' records, because OWD on the service request records we have configured as private. The next option under the OWD is controlled by parent. Please note that this controlled by parent would be only applicable to the child objects. That is, if we have master detail relationship, only for the childs we would get this controlled by parent option. Here we have service request master object and spare parts as detail object. So for spare parts, we would get the controlled by parent option. When you select control by parent as a OWD for spare parts, that means whatever the OWD applied at the parent level, that is at the service request level, that is private, public read write, public read only, those effect would apply to the spare parts. That means whatever user has the access on the parent record, he would ultimately get the same access on the corresponding child records. The fourth option of OWD, that is controlled by parent, will be applicable only to the child objects, not to the parent objects. For example, our service request is the master for the spare parts object. So when we see the options of OWD for service request, we would be able to see only three: private, public read only, and public read write. The controlled by parent will not be there as it is the master object, and we have a child object for this one, that is spare parts. Let me go to that object. Spare parts, if you see the OWD, by default it assigned with a controlled by parents. Whatever at the parent level we have assigned the OWD, the same thing is applied to the spare part. For example, ultimately whatever user has the permission on the parent record, he will be having the same permission at the child record when we configure it as a controlled by parent. And for custom child objects, we cannot assign any other permissions other than controlled by parent. After OWD, the other technique available under managed record sharing is role hierarchy. To understand role hierarchy in a better way, we would create another three users, LDR2, Tech3, Tech4, and we would apply the role hierarchy on this organization as like below. For manager, supreme role, and for LDR1, services leader role, and LDR2 also sales leader role. Under services leader role, we have services tech role. Under this, we have tech 1 and tech 2. Under sales leader role, we have sales tech role. Under sales tech role, we have tech 3, tech 4. After we have configured this role hierarchy, the users above another users in the hierarchy will get same access on the records owned by the users below. That is, in the hierarchy of tech 1, LDR1 MGR comes above in the hierarchy of tech 1. So the LDR1 and MGR would get the same access as tech 1 has the access on those records. Consequently, if the record is created by tech 1, then whomever comes under above to this user, that is LDR1 and MGR, would also get the ownership, that is full access on that record. In the same way, if tech 3 creates a record, the ownership would be assigned to the tech 3, and the same ownership full access would go to the LDR2 and supreme role, that is MGR user. For better understanding, we keep role hierarchy and OWD as separate concepts. We will just look into the role hierarchy with OWD as private. Consider OWD as private for now. On this organization, let's create the roles and apply the role hierarchy. So manager 1 will fall under supreme role. Under supreme role, we will be having the service leader role and sales leader role. Under service leader role, we have services tech role. Under sales leader role, we have sales tech role. And for each user, we would assign the role, individual roles. Like for LDR1, the respective role is services leader role, and for LDR2, the respective leader role is sales leader role. Under services tech role, we have tech 1 and tech 2. Tech 3's and tech 4's role is sales tech role. Now let us assume each user has created one record in this org, so that they would be having access to that record. The complete access they would be having on those records they have created. Now let's have a look into the access of tech 1. He would be having only one record access, that is, he was the owner of that record that he has created, and he will not get any other records from his role hierarchy. as he is staying at the bottom in the role hierarchy. Same way, Tech 2 will have only one record access that he has created. Let us check what are all the record access that LDR1 has access. Since he is at service leader role, he would be getting the complete access on the records that the subordinates created. Now let's have a look into the list of records that he has access. One record has a ownership, that is his own record, and two other records via role hierarchy, that is created by his subordinates Tech 1 and Tech 2. Same way, LDR2 also will have access to his subordinates records. Hence, LDR2 also will have one as owner, as he has created only one record, and whatever his subordinates Tech 3, Tech 4 created records, those records also he would get access because of the role hierarchy, that is 2 records. Completely he will have 3 record accesses. Please note that as the record created by Tech 3, on that record Tech 3 had owner, the leader 2 would get complete full access on that record. The Tech 4 would have the complete access on the Tech 4 created record, and the same way the LDR2 also would be getting the complete access on the record created by Tech 4. If you see, MGR stays at the top in the hierarchy, so he should be able to get the access of all the records that is created by his subordinates. So let's see, yes, he would be able to access all the records and he would get the same access rights that his subordinates has on those records. Now let's see the complete access of MGR. MGR, he would get one record as owner. He would get 6 records via the role hierarchy because under him there are 6 records and these records created by those 6 persons. Here whatever the record that we have seen, that is records created by that users under this role. Let's assume the Tech 3 user would get another records access, only the read access, and that record is not created under this role. That record would have been created by some other user fall under another role hierarchy. So on that record, Tech 3 would have the read access, and same way, since LDR2 comes on top of Tech 3, LDR2 would get the read access on that record, and MGR also would get the read access on that record. For better understanding of role hierarchy, let me save service request OWD as private. Now OWD of service request is private, so that only the owners of the record should be able to access those records. Also please note that in order to get the role hierarchy effect, this grant access using hierarchies checkbox should be checked for the corresponding object. For example, for our object, it is checked. By default, this checkbox is checked. If we uncheck this checkbox, though we have user role set up in our org, the role hierarchy effect would not get applied to the records of that unchecked object. Also note that the child object does not have this option. It inherits from its parent. For example, spare part does not have this option. It inherits from our service request master object. In our org, we have to create these 5 roles in this structure. For this role hierarchy, we have to create 3 more users, LDR2, Tech 3, Tech 4. I have created a new profile for the sales team, that is VJ sales profile, and I have given read, create, edit, delete permissions on our service request object. This profile I am going to assign to the sales team users. I have created these 3 users, LDR2, Tech 3, Tech 4, and I have assigned the VJ sales profile to those newly created sales team members. Let's create Supreme role. To create the roles, go to the settings and search for the roles. Click on setup role. Here I am going to create a new role, that is Supreme role, and it directly reports to the org. On Supreme role, we have to assign one user, so I'm going to assign a user here. And I'm going to select MGR under this role. Now Supreme role has been created and MGR is put into that role. Let's create Services Leader role. Services Leader role should come under Supreme role. And it is reporting to the Supreme role. And let me assign the users for this role, that is LDR1. Same way, let's create Sales Leader role and assign LDR2 for that role. And Sales Leader role should come under Supreme role. So Sales Leader role is reporting to Supreme role. And let me assign LDR2 under this role. And the next role is Services Tech role. It should come under Services Leader role, and it should have two users, Tech 1 and Tech 2. Under Services Leader role, I am going to create Services Tech role. It should report to the Services Leader role. And under this role, I am going to add Tech 1 and Tech 2 users. Now under Sales Leader role, we should create Sales Tech role. Sales Tech role reports to Sales Leader role. Under Sales Tech role, we should have two users, that is Tech 3 and Tech 4. Now we have configured our role hierarchy. Supreme role is at the top level. Under this role, we have Sales Leader role and Services Leader role. Again, under Sales Leader role, we have Sales Tech role. Same way, under Services Leader role, we have Services Tech role. And we have assigned the users as well according to this diagram. Now, as per hierarchy, Tech 1 and Tech 2 comes under LDR1, and Tech 3 and Tech 4 goes under LDR2, and all of these users comes under MGR as he has the Supreme role, the top role. Now let's try to create the records for each user and see the role hierarchy effect. We already have records on LDR1, Tech 1, Tech 2, MGR. Let me create records for each users LDR2, Tech 3, Tech 4 as owners of their record. Each user created one record, that is service request record. Example, LDR2 has this record and he is the owner. Tech 3 has created one record. He is the owner of this record. Tech 4 has created this record. He is the owner of this record. Now let's log in as each individual user and see the effect of role hierarchy. Please note that we have configured organization-wide defaults of our object as private. If we apply public read write or public read only, all the records visible to all the users, and we could not see the effect of role hierarchy properly. So in order to see the effect of role hierarchy properly, I selected the private for our service request object. Later on we can change as per our requirement. Now let's log in as each user and see the effect of role hierarchy. Now our org has the structure and each user has created his own records, and now I'm going to log in as tech1 user and see what are all the records that he can access. Since he comes at the bottom of the hierarchy, you should be able to see his own records only. This is tech1 user and he is able to see his own record only. He does not have any other records access. And since he is the owner, he will have complete access on this record. The same applies to tech2 user. I'm going to log in as tech2 user. And even tech2 user has only one record access because in the hierarchy he is at the bottom level. Even he is in the hierarchy, he does not have any subordinates, so he will not get any other record access. Now let's check LDR1's records access. I'm logging in as LDR1. He is able to see his subordinates records also because LDR1 is above tech1 and tech2. He is able to see both the records. Since tech1 and tech2 has ownership on those records, the full access goes to the LDR1 also because of the role hierarchy. The same access that tech1 has on this record would be applicable to LDR1. The same access that tech2 has on this record would be applicable to LDR1. So on the tech1 he has complete ownership on the record. Let's verify LDR1 whether he has complete ownership on the tech1's record. I'm accessing the tech1's record. He is able to read. Let me try whether he is able to edit. Yes, he is able to edit. And for this example, let me try to delete this record. He should be able to delete this record. I am doing undelete. Yes, I brought back this record, and he should be able to change the owner and he should be able to share this record. Since he is above the user of tech1, he is able to perform all the operations as like what tech1 user able to perform on this record. Same way, let's see what tech3 can access. I logged in as tech3 and he is able to access only one record because he is staying at the bottom of the hierarchy. He would be able to see only his own record and he will have the complete access on this. Please note that as I have very limited lightning licenses on this org, I have created tech3, tech4 and LDR2 as a classic users. Same way, tech4 user would have access to only one record as he has created only one record. Now let's log in as a LDR2 and see what are the records that he has. He should be able to have 3 record accesses, and since their subordinates has created those records, he should be having the complete access on that record. I am logging in as LDR2 and clicking on all the records to see all the records. he is able to see his own record as well as Tech 3's and Tech 4's because he is the above user to the Tech 3 and Tech 4. By default, since he is the owner for this record, LDR2 record, he will be having the complete access. But let's see what accesses he has on the record created by Tech 3. When I access Tech 3, he is able to read, should be able to edit this record. Yes, he is able to edit this record. Let me try to delete this record. Yes, he is able to delete this record as well. Let me get back this record. He is able to get back that record as well. One more point that here we should observe is the LDR2 is only able to access his subordinates records and his own records, but not the other person's records in the org. Now, if you see MGR stands on top of the hierarchy, so he should be able to access all the records and he should have complete access on those records. I am logging in as MGR user, and if you see, he is able to see all the records that were created under him, and as a thumb rule, he must be having the complete access, full access on his own record, that is on this record. Now, yes, he has all the complete accesses on this record. Now let's see the others record whether he has the complete access or not. For example, I am taking the other record that is created by LDR2 user. So he should be able to edit this record. So MGR user is able to edit the LDR2 user's record. Because of the role hierarchy, he got the complete access on this record. And he must be able to delete as well. Yes, he is able to delete the LDR's record and he should be able to undo that deleted record. So ultimately MGR has one record as owner and other records also complete full access because of the role hierarchy and as he stayed at the top of the role hierarchy. In our example, we have taken as OWD as private, but we can take OWD as public read rate or public read only. When we apply public read rate and public read only, we have seen the effect how the record will be shared to the entire public. But using the role hierarchy effect, the users who stands above to the other users will get the same access as their subordinates. The next record level sharing technique under managed record sharing is sharing rules. Sharing rule automatically grants records owned by a specific group of users to the another group of users or another role of users. The sharing rules can be configured based on record ownership or other criteria. For example, in our organization, we have the roles configured like this. And now the requirement is whatever the records created by sales leader role and its subordinate should be shared, the read access should be shared to the roles services leader role and its subordinates. For that, we can configure a sharing rule with a read permission. From this sales leader role and its subordinates created records would be given a read access to the role services leader role and its subordinates. Let's deep dive into the sharing rule technique. The role hierarchy as follows. Once we have this role hierarchy, we have seen the behavior of the record accesses. For example, each user has created one record, and now leader 1 would have access to the records created by its subordinates also. Same way, leader 2 would have access to the records that is created by its subordinates also. Now we are going to configure one sharing rule. So once we apply the sharing rule, the read permission on those records under this created by under this role, sales reader role, and its subordinates would be given to the users under services leader role and the users of subordinate role of services leader role, that is LDR1, Tech1, Tech2. That is for those records created by Tech3, Tech4, LDR2. For those records, read access would be shared to LDR1, Tech1, Tech2. Now, if you see the Tech3's access, he would be having only one record access and no records from role hierarchy. And in the same way, if you see the LDR2's access, he would have one record as owner and two records from the role hierarchy. From his subordinates, he gets two records access. And now let's take a look into the Tech1's access. After applying the sharing rule, he would have one record as ownership and three record access from the sharing rule, that is a read access. So totally he would get one as owner plus three records as read only permissions that were created by sales team. Same way, the Tech2 user would get one record as owner and he would get three records read permission because of the sharing rule, that is from LDR2, Tech3, Tech4 record. Now let's have a look into the LDR1's record access. He would be having one record as owner because he has created one, and from the role hierarchy he gets two more, and then he would get three more read access records from the sharing rule. That is, those records created by LDR2, Tech3, Tech4 now shared via the sharing rule with a read access. Now let us try to create this sharing rule so that the read access of these records should be given to the role, services leader role and its subordinates. To create the sharing rule, we have to go to the sharing settings. There should be a sharing rule section for our object. This is the sharing rule section of the service request object. Let's create a sharing rule over here. Sales record read access to services team. And we can create the sharing rule using the two rule types, that is based on owner or based on criteria. If you select the based on criteria, we will get displayed with the selection of the criteria, that is by using the fields of the record we can select one criteria. For example, you can select city is equal to any of the city, that is for example Hyderabad, and the records whichever satisfies this criteria would be applicable for this sharing rule. In our example, we are not going with based on criteria, we are going with based on record owner, because whatever the records created under this role and its subordinates, we have to give read permission of those records to this role and its subordinates. So I have selected based on record owner, and here we will select roles and subordinates, and then here whatever the sales role, sales reader role and its subordinates created records, that has to be considered for this sharing rule. And select to the targeted users, that is, we will select again roles and subordinates. Here our role and subordinate should be services leader role. As per our requirement, it has to assign to the services leader role and its subordinates. That's why I have selected roles and subordinate section here and services leader role here. If we have other requirement, like if we want to apply this sharing rule to the public groups, we can do that one. Or if you want to apply only to the one role, then we can select only one role. Here in our requirement, we have taken the role and its subordinates. And the access level, if you select read write, those records whichever created under this role and its subordinates, for those records read write permission would be given to this role and its subordinate. But as per our requirement, we need to have only the read only permission, so that the records that are created under this role and its subordinates, though for those records read access would be assigned to the services leader role and its subordinate. I'm clicking on the save. I'm clicking on OK. And based on the amount of the records that we have at the service request object, it will take the time. In our example only we have 7 rows, so it must have completed by now. But in a real application, it may take long time if we have several objects satisfying under that rule. See, under our section, rule has been created. Now let's log in as each user and see the effect. The main things that we need to verify here is the LDR1 must have the read access on those records created by LDR2, Tech3, Tech4. Same way, Tech1 should have access to those records that is created by LDR2, Tech3, Tech4. And it should not be applied in a reverse way, that is, Tech3 should not have access to the records that are created by LDR1, Tech1, Tech2. Because let's log in as LDR1 and see the record access that he got because of the sharing rule. I am logging in as LDR1. Yes, he has got the access to the other roles records, that is LDR2, Tech3, Tech4. Please note that LDR1, he will get by default LDR1's own record. That's why he got LDR1. And he got access to Tech1 and Tech2's record because of the role hierarchy. He stays at the top of the Tech1 and Tech2. And then the LDR2, Tech2, Tech3 he got from the sharing rule. Now if you see on the LDR2 record, he should not have edit and delete permission. He just have to read this one. He will not be able to edit anything in this, as he does not have any permissions, as our sharing rule has applied only the read only permission, and he will not be able to delete this record also. Same way, he will be able to read the other Tech3 and Tech4 records. Via the sharing rule, he got the read access on these records. He must not be able to edit this record, and he should not be able to delete as well. Yes. Same applies to the record of Tech4. He got the read access of this Tech4's user's record because of the sharing rule, and he will not be able to edit. And LDR1 will not be able to delete Tech4's user's record because he got only the read access from the sharing rule. Same way, let's check by logging in as a Tech1 user what are all the access he will get for those records which got applied during the sharing rule. Logging in as a Tech1 user, and Tech1 user able to see his own record as well as the other roles record, that is LDR2, Tech3, Tech4, and he must be having only the read access on these records. For example, I am going to edit this and see whether he is able to edit. No, he is not able to edit, and he will not be able to delete as well. Now let's verify the reverse way. The Tech3 should not be able to access the records of LDR1, Tech1 and Tech2 because sharing rule applied in this direction but not in a reverse direction. To verify that, I am going to log in as Tech3 user and to see all the records. If you see all the records, the Tech3 has only access to his own record because he is at the bottom of the hierarchy, so he will have only one record access, and there is no sharing rule to apply any records access for him, and OWD is private. Finally, we will have to verify for MGR what are all the records that he will be able to access and what are the access he will be having on those records. By default, as he is staying at the supreme role, he would be getting the complete access of the records that were created by LDR2 and Tech3 and Tech4. So these records read access again given to the LDR1, Tech1 and Tech2. He has already got the complete access on those records, so this read access won't flow in the hierarchy. Now I am going to log in as MGR user. As MGR user has a supreme role, he is able to see all the records and he must be having the complete access on the LDR2, Tech3, Tech4 and all other remaining records. So let's verify whether he has the complete access on the record that is created by LDR2. He must be able to edit this record. He is able to edit. He must be able to delete this record as well because he is standing on the top of this LDR2 user, and he is able to restore that record as well. The main thing that we need to observe here is MGR is going to get highest access when those records created by LDR2 and Tech3, Tech4. That is, complete record has already been assigned to the MGR. Again, via the sharing rule, though we are assigning to his subordinates as the read access, that read access again it will not apply to MGR because he has already complete access on those records. In this session, we have covered record ownership, organization-wide default, role hierarchy, sharing rule. And now we know why all these four comes under managed record sharing. For record ownership, Salesforce by default manages it. Organization-wide defaults, once we have done the setup, Salesforce manages the record sharing. Role hierarchy, once we have defined the roles, Salesforce manages the record sharing. Once we have configured the sharing rule, Salesforce automatically manages the record sharing as per the setup that we have done on the sharing rule. In the next session, we will cover user managed record sharing, where users is going to manage the record sharing, and then we will cover the Apex managed record sharing. By using the Apex code programmatically, we will manage the record sharing. Thanks for watching. We will meet in the next session.